When I thought about wanting to make an exhibit in Second Life, I hadn't really thought through all the details. One important one is designing the objects and the displays to be in the exhibit. And since I had no clue on how to start doing that, I went to the library, and fortunately there was a librarian there who was willing to guide me and Aubergine through step-by-step tutorial making objects and giving me scripts and giving me the lingo with which to start my display. So after one or two trial and error tutorials, I found a place that I could quietly explore making objects. I started this practice session with creating a simple box, and when you right click in an area that allows you to create an object, a screen opens up and you can decide on basic shapes. And here you see Aubergine working with a box, and the different color grid area is what I use to size and shape the box. And what I'm going to work on first is adding content to the box so that when another resident comes and clicks on it or touches it, certain things will happen. And what I am putting in this first part is a note card. The note card will be delivered to the resident when they touch the box. I am now in the process of adding the rest of the content to the box, and what you can see is I've added the floating text which appears above the box. It says, "Oh, look at that interesting moss-covered rock." I was able to do that by using a script called floating text. The second thing that you see is what is on the note card that the resident will receive when he or she touches the box. And I also used a set script and edited it to put in what I wanted to have on the note card. And then the last thing that you'll see is adding a URL script. You can see that I've made the box a little bit bigger in this picture, but more importantly what this shows is an example of a script. And this is for giving a URL note to someone who touches the box. And all I needed to do was add the text for the URL that I wanted to show, and then the actual link. And what I've added is the name of the book, Anansi and the Moss-Covered Rock, and then a link to WorldCat so the resident could find it in a local library. Here Aubergine touched the box, and this is the URL note that will appear to anyone who touches it. So if I choose to, I can go to the web page right away. Now, because of the theme in the Anansi book, I wanted to see if I could make the box do something to the person who touched it the same way that the rock does something to the animals in the story. And so I found that I could change the default for touching the object to sitting on the object. And this is what happens when Aubergine now touches the object. She sits on the box. Well, what I realized while sitting there was that it was actually a box and not a rock. So what I'm doing now is changing it into a sphere, and you can see where I've selected that, and then I merely move the arrows or lines around to shape it to the shape I want. The next series of pictures show changing the texture and the look so it actually looks more like a rock. And the first texture I added is you can see on the screen is light moss, and I got these textures as a freebie, and there are freebies stocked all over Areas in Second Life. Now I'm going to change the color of the rock, and you can do that in similar to any paint program, and I'm deciding between different shades of green here. Here I'm just looking at the general options available for what I can and what other residents can do with this rock. And because all of the things that I've used were given to me, I thought if someone were interested in having my object, I would go ahead and allow that to happen. So I've selected things here that says what the next resident who touches the rock can do. So someone could move it, someone could copy it. It's for sale, which for sale also means for free, and you get a copy of it, not the original. And then once you own it, you can modify it, copy it, sell it, give it away. So after all that hard work, here I am sitting on my new rock, resting and thinking about what I need to practice next.